Was yesterday better? 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 225 of the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and today I want to explain a very specific feeling you and I both know too well. You finally do the thing. Gym, study, deep work, whatever. You feel amazing. And then, the day after, it's kind of meh. You're not broken. You didn't lose momentum. That dip is normal. And if you understand why it happens, you can use it to your advantage. Before we start, as usual, if you end up liking this episode and overall the Shower Podcast, remember that liking and subscribing really mean a lot for me. They're just one click, but they really make the difference. Thank you very much for considering it. So here's the simple model. There are two gratifications. Immediate, you get a lift just from doing the thing. Call it dopamine, mood, call it I'm proud that I showed up. And then there's the long term. The state you enter after weeks of showing up. Better energy, less friction, stronger identity. The trap is expecting the same high tomorrow that you got today. When it doesn't show up, you feel disappointed and the brain whispers, see, it's not working. A quick bit of brain science in plain English. Your brain's motivation system loves surprises. The first time you show up for a hard thing, especially after a dry spell, your brain throws a party. It did not predict that reward. Next day, it knows what's coming. The surprise is gone. The spike calms down. That calm is not failure. It's your system normalizing the new behavior. So, if today feels flatter than yesterday, congratulations. Your brain moved the goalpost. Keep playing on a new field. Another reason we get confused. We mix up wanting with liking. The chemistry that gets you to want to do the thing isn't the same as the gentle satisfaction of liking it after. Sometimes wanting is high and liking is low. Sometimes the reverse. Expecting fireworks every day is like expecting your morning coffee to taste like a birthday party. Calm is not a problem. Calm is a signal. Finally, there's our human forecasting bug. We're notorious for overestimating how happy a result would make us and for how long. You ace a test, hit a PR, publish the thing, and 24 hours later, you're back to baseline thinking, that's it? That's not you being ungrateful. That's the mind's default. The fix isn't to chase a bigger spike tomorrow, it's to change what you measure. If you only measure spikes, you'll keep switching goals to get the next hit. If you measure state, you start asking a different question. Am I a little calmer? Do I start faster? Is the friction lower? Am I becoming the kind of person who does this by default? There's also this funny paradox. The more effort you put into something, the more valuable it feels to you. Think about building a piece of IKEA furniture. Suddenly, that wobbly shelf is your child. Daily effort doesn't just create results, it creates meaning. That's why a routine you built yourself feels better than a hack you borrowed. And that's also one of the big reasons where in the Shower Podcast, I try to give you hints and suggestions, but not real fixes, because I want you to develop them yourself and make them your own. One more data-backed idea. Tiny progress on meaningful work is one of the most reliable drivers of motivation and good mood. Not once in a while fireworks, but daily inches. So when the spike fades, your job isn't to chase another spike, it's to collect another inch. Also, quick pause, trying something new. If this is clicking in your mind and you're actually liking what you hear, remember that you can support the channel with just one click, either by liking, subscribing, or leaving a comment. Thank you very much. Back to our habits. They don't flip like a switch. They drift towards automatic. For some people, it's weeks. For some, it's a couple of months. The point isn't the exact number, it's the lens. Judge the practice over a horizon, not over 24 hours. The long view protects you from the short dip. Also remember that these feelings can be labeled. When it happens, you can say, that's just the day after dip. The moment you name it, you stop fighting it. You don't argue with weather, you bring a jacket. Same here. You run the protocol anyway. So here's a 4-step loop that you can start implementing right away. Start tiny, 5-minute counts. The unit is showing up, not suffering. So you do the thing, you feel good, and then what? Remember to log the win. Remember that you did it. One line in a notes app, a date and what you did. Proof beats the mood. Once you have those two, remember what will happen next, don't be surprised, and just run it back. Stack the days, aim for streaks, and overall start tracking the long period, not the immediate satisfaction. Because here's the thing, if you stick with it past the day after dip, something sneaky happens. That short-term buzz you got on day one, it becomes irrelevant compared to the state you're in after weeks of consistency. You're not chasing dopamine spikes anymore. You're living a better baseline. Energy is higher, self-talk is cleaner, and decisions are faster. That's the upgrade people are actually looking for. They just don't know it at the start. And it gets difficult because you cannot see that state in 24 hours. You need the zoomed out view. Imagine tracking not just your mood, but your friction to start every week. If it goes from a 9 to 3, you've won. Even if the mood chart doesn't show fireworks every day. Most people quit in the dip because they mistake normal adaptation for loss of motivation. They switch to a new thing, get the day one high again, but right after, quit. A loop that feels busy but goes nowhere. You can't compound progress if you keep resetting to zero. The real magic is when the habit stops being something you do and becomes something you are. You're not someone who tries to work out. You're a person who trains. If you are a listener of the Shower Podcast, you might remember that I talked about this when trying to define yourself in self-improvement. That shift is invisible in the first week, but impossible to miss after a couple of months. So, to close up today, think of that day one hype as a welcome drink at a party. It's nice, it sets the mood, but the reason you stay is the people, the vibe, the flow. If you leave after the welcome drink because nothing tastes like your first sip, well, you're gonna miss the whole point of being there. So, next time you feel it, smile. It means you've stepped off the roller coaster of a quick hit and onto the long track where the real change happens. Having said that, that was all for today. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I gave you a few directions and something that will motivate you to keep doing whatever you are doing. And it can be even the easy dopamine of listening to the daily episodes of the Shower Podcast. As always, if you like today's episode, remember that liking and subscribing really make the difference for me. And as usual, stay consistent, stay resilient. This was the Shower Podcast, and see you tomorrow.